The Omnic Weekly. Welcome everyone, it is Sunday, December 10th, and this is episode 162 of the Omnic Weekly. Which is, that number just keeps going up. What is that? Is that something numbers do? They do, right? Yeah, they just keep going up. Anyways, last week we had an all male episode. It was like testosterone everywhere. Esports. Now today we kind of trying to balance that out with the fair ladies of the Omnic Weekly.
Yeah.
We have
Hi.
Hannah, we have Frozen. How you doing, guys? Welcome.
Tired.
Yeah.
That was... Tell me you're tired without telling me you're tired. Tired.
Tired.
Yeah, I was kind of in the same boat, but then, I don't know, I think my body is telling me, like, dude, you need to sleep. I went to bed, like, what time did we start playing Phasmo last night? Like, say, 2 o'clock to 2:30, something like that?
About, yeah.
I went to bed after that. I woke up, I think it was 1 in the afternoon. Like, shit, what time is it? Like, completely slept. I probably almost slept like 12, no, like 10 hours. 10 hours, something like that. So.
Seems
Your
like
body
you
needs
needed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I need to get a little more sleep. I think my body's telling me, like, dude, no. This is not the way forward. We're just going to have you pass out for a few hours. You'll be fine. But anyways,
I don't know about you, but I'm still recovering from the Game Awards.
yeah, that might have been. It definitely messed up my schedule. So for those that missed it, this week we had the Game Awards, the big Oscars of the gaming industry, like I'm calling them, especially in the Belgian newspapers, because the big winner was a Belgian gaming studio with Baldur's Gate. Larry.
Yeah.
We're so happy.
Yeah, they won all the prizes, man. There was 6 prizes they took home, and it was in all the newspapers. It was on television. Which
So
is kind
deserved.
of funny. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
deserved,
definitely.
but it's also kind of funny how they never take any heed, or they never like kind of pay any attention to whatever happens in the gaming industry till it kind of blows up really, really big, and then they're like, oh
Mhm.
shit, and then they don't really know. They don't have anybody to talk about it, so they get all these people out there that they try to find because someone's uncle, sister's brother, nephew is playing Fortnite, and let's give him a call. Maybe he knows what we're talking about. What is happening here? Not all of them. I mean, there are television stations.
I know what
and-
you mean, though.
Yeah.
It's like, it's a thing they don't deem important until it's huge.
Yeah,
and
exactly,
then suddenly
exactly.
they have nobody to, like, reference anything from.
Yeah. But anyways, it was a big evening, especially for the guys at Larian, and for our Finnish friends. With Alan Wake, man, they also took a lot of prizes. But Hannah and myself and a few other people in my community stayed up because it started at 2:30 for me till 5:30, something like that. So for Hannah, that's like 5:30 midnight.
Yeah, an hour behind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But still,
I
by the end,
fell
it was-
asleep during.
Yeah. Person started out with us and then kind of just went like, bye-bye.
And
Just
then
I'm
finished
out.
go.
it.
Goodbye.
Yeah. But by the time I was in bed, it was 6 a.m. So yeah, that was not good. It was not.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was
it was
about
worth it.
6 by the time I, like, wound down from the excitement of the whole thing and then fell asleep. So,
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, the Game Awards, it's an interesting thing. I've talked about it in the past, like during a stream this week. It is beautiful to see something like that happen, to see these games that we love kind of being put on a pedestal and getting the attention they deserve. But on the other hand, there's like thousands of other games that are really beautiful that kind of don't. I mean, it's a award thing, you know. It's the same with the movies. The Oscars always go to those big productions, and occasionally they'll pick out a smaller one.
Yeah.
But there's like thousands of movies being made. The thing is, then you have like Cannes Festival, you have all these different festivals going on, and that is something that is not as common in the gaming industry. There's not.
no, we don't really sort of have, like, an Edinburgh Fringe gaming festival or
Yeah.
anything.
I mean, they do happen. I mean, I've been to plenty of those, and they all have some type of award. Like GDC even has an award ceremony, but they don't get the attention like what a Cannes
No.
or a Berlin festival or a Edinburgh or whatever. This is called in the States. You know, have Tribeca. What's the other one? There's like a really big one somewhere in the mountains. I can't think of the name. It doesn't matter. Anyways, like you have all these big festivals, and when a a movie from your region wins something, it will be big news. But I guess that's just because we're still a relatively young industry compared to all the others.
Yeah.
If you look at the growing pains that we've been going through in the last few years. Guys, I saw some criticism on the Game Awards. I don't know if you guys saw that. People were kind of unhappy with Jeff
Or what, that
Keighley.
they didn't talk about the amount
Yeah.
of layoffs this year.
Yeah, the fact that there were so many layoffs this year in the gaming industry that was not addressed and not kind of even mentioned. Which, yeah, I can understand. I mean, there's a choice you need to make. Like, what are we going to do? What do we
Also
need to be
saw
talking
some
about?
critiques like them like trying to shush devs off the stage by like playing music way too early or like
Yeah, they did that at all awards. So to be honest, and I think for them it was the first time. I think, well, it was the voice actor for Kratos. I can't think of his name. He's an awesome guy. I'm really bad with names. But he also did one of the characters in Stargate. That's actually where I know him best from. He apparently he even was bragging about it this year. Did a whole speech that lasted 7 or 8 minutes last year. At that point, you basically are, if you have a show that is perfectly timed, you're basically stealing time from people behind you. So they kind of want to avoid that. You're always in the shitter in these kind of situations. You're either not giving people enough time, or you're giving someone too much time, and all the rest behind them can't do anything and just
Yeah, I
immediately
get
send off.
that, but I don't. Maybe there was another way to manage it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've never had to run one of these events, so I don't know.
I did, and I mean, we did the Belgian Game Awards 2 years in a row with that event that I organized here in Belgium, One Up, and yeah, that was the same thing. We needed to manage time box everything, and make sure that everybody had ample time to talk, and you kind of also attribute more time to the bigger awards and then the smaller awards, which is, I mean, if you win the big award, you have the equal amount of people to thank for it, but there's like a more of a prestige to it. I don't know, but if you don't manage it, it just becomes this cascade of delays, and if you have we didn't really have a broadcast time, so if we ran a little later, that wasn't a big disaster. But if you have this slot, this broadcast time that you need to stay within, it kind of, especially with sponsors and whatnot, because some sponsors pay to be, like, if you get so far behind in time that most people just kind of zone out, and your sponsors at the end of the event will not be happy. So there's always like a lot of that comes into play, and I think this is the first time they did this, and the guy that probably started the music was just as nervous as anybody else. Just kind of, should I? No, wait, yeah, okay, let me just start it right now, and kind of, I mean, we'll see. I think overall it was well organized. You can tell that the production
it wasn't
value
too bad.
Yeah, it's kind of going up and up, and I mean, some of the jokes were a little cringe. Like,
that's always going to happen, though.
Yeah.
People will always make dad jokes on stage. It's
but it's I don't mind the dad jokes. What I mind is like the jokes that they read from autocue in a way as if it's just the weather report. You know, like just ramble off the joke and do at the end to make sure that everybody understands it was a joke. Like, all right, let's maybe put some emotion in it, can we, please? Of developers that are just kind of, I don't know which studio it was that was complimenting Jeff Keighley on his tuxedo and just kind of grabbing him, and you could tell he was like, "Oh shit, what is he doing? What is he doing? Stop touching me!"
Stop
like
grabbing me.
Yeah.
Contact, physical contact. No.
I mean, if I would have touched someone, would have been that guy in that big giant armor.
Yeah.
From Larian Studios.
You'll watch next year. There'll be more armor as people like just don't want physical contact.
I get
maybe
it.
that's the reason he did it. I don't know. I don't think he's a huge fan of physical contact himself, so that might be the reason that he wore it.
Was very shiny, so
It was very shiny. Yeah, he's been using that ever since the way from before they started doing Baldur's Gate on the previous game, kind of to do the whole Kickstart campaign. It was kind of a gimmick that he used in all the videos that they made, and kind of as a joke. And he kept with it. And look at that. And now he's on that stage. It's kind of insane for me. Like, I've told this before, but I have somewhat of a connection to that studio. In the sense, it's a Belgian studio, a very small industry. I used to work in the industry till really recently, I mean. But at some point, I was close to working there. I had a job offer on the table that I refused for working at that company, and I never regretted it. Not even today. Not even after winning that award. Because, I mean, winning an award is always nice. You know, it's about the long. I think the long story would not have fit me, so I think that is kind of
Yeah, that's fair.
yeah. But it is kind of weird to see those people on stage and kind of and it completely deserved. Like it is kind of insane, and it's a prime example to kind of steer things back to Overwatch a little bit. But I think this is a prime example of how passionate people can make awesome things. I think the Overwatch team is just as passionate as the team at Larian. I think the biggest proof, this might be a weird thing to say, but the biggest example of their passion, or the biggest piece of evidence that they are just as passionate, is the fact that PvE was cancelled, that PvE was a fact, that it ever was an idea as big as that they were so passionate about it that they didn't want to let go, and then eventually
Yeah, that they
were
didn't want to
forced.
let go of it
Yeah.
for so long.
Yeah, because they were
Mm.
passionate about making it, and the same with the predecessor to Overwatch, which was Project Titan. It just kind of had that same issue. It was a big dream that they didn't want to let go of, and that's always the thing with passion. It can burn you, but if you channel it
Yeah.
correctly,
I mean, if you are passionate about something, that's great. But if you are not realistic while doing so, that becomes a problem. So, and then, like,
Yeah.
sometimes if you're that passionate about a project, it's just really hard to admit to yourself this will not work,
yeah,
or like
Yeah.
this is not how it's gonna go down.
and
So,
the problem is that it's really hard to tell if you're realistic or not. It really kind of it takes a few steps. You really need to kind of what was that with my voice? You really need to you need to take a few steps forward in the whole process before you notice, like, oh shit, this is not feasible, because it's not an exact science. You can have a whole roadmap, you can look at it and go, yeah, this is feasible, and as soon as you start it, you're like, oh shit, no, this step takes way longer than we had hoped.
Backpedal!
Yeah, exactly.
help!
And that is what happened often. I mean, there's a lot of inexperienced studios out there that that just kind of overbite. They just kind of they bite off too much. How do you say it in English? They chew
You
off too much.
bite off more than you can
They
chew.
chew. Yeah, exactly.
The best recent example of that would be Dedalic Entertainment with the Gollum game, honestly.
Oh yeah. And the one that was released yesterday, was it the day before? It's like a zombie shooter. Like, we are not too familiar with it because we don't care about those kind of games. But I have been following it because I'm on TikTok and I swipe and I see these people complaining.
You see
And then
it,
I'm
and you
always
learn
intrigued.
about these things just being involved in the
Yeah.
field.
But there is it got the most wish lists ever on Steam. So that was the reason why it drew my attention. It was like a new record that was set, and everybody was super hyped. It was like a mix between all these zombie shooters and Kharkov and what is it called? Like all these big kind of shooters that that we have seen over the last few years that are played by very dedicated shooter players. And they basically made this open world MMO that had all these elements of all these different games. And it looked very promising. But it already started a few months ago where people were claiming that was never going to be released, that it was a hoax, that was a fake, but it released yesterday. But it's a buggy mess. It's not open world, it's more like The Division, so they basically lied to the whole of the community. So it's basically these instance little drop zones that you have within a big world. It's not open world. Yeah, I saw a few people play it, and it was so laggy that they were shooting, and by the time they actually heard the shot, the enemy was already like 2 blocks further on, and that person was like, "Oh, did I just hear someone shoot?"
Oh boy.
Like, and or crashes and all these kind of. And I mean, like, I played during the game night. They released that that team-based shooter. Wait, let me quickly. The finals, which was in beta, and they surprise released it during the Game Awards. I tried it, and because everybody was trying it, there was also a lot of lag involved. But this is stuff that you can attribute to the servers. They just kind of lied about the whole design and everything, and to the point where they started removing negative comments on Steam, where they removed their own trailers for the game, where they made all these promises and whatnot. So this is
it's like people don't learn.
Yeah.
You know, at least the Overwatch team cancelled what they realized they couldn't do instead of releasing something like this.
Yeah, and I mean, they canceled it. They didn't push through till the end, and I think a lot of people might be comparing these two to each other, but it's a completely different story. Like Hannah said, they probably all started out in the same place with these ambitions, but as you move forward, you realize that you can't make it. At some point, you give up on those, but you keep telling people that you're still doing it, and you keep developing something that is very different. That might sound very similar, but it's actually very different in the sense that the Overwatch team, till the moment they canceled it, were still convinced that they were at some point going to deliver on the PvE.
Yeah.
And it was more of a, okay, we can't do it. We just need to cut it right here. Otherwise, we're going to, because there's a story that a lot of people don't know, but Project Titan was canceled or close to being canceled at least 4 times. Jeff Kaplan told this story at some point. But they kept bringing in new people, new leadership to try and get the ship on track again, like to get the whole thing rolling again, to get everything going again. But these people couldn't because it was just not feasible within that context and within that team and whatnot to do what they wanted to do. And it took them like 4 times to realize. And then I think that is more on a corporate level because they were like, oh yeah, we spent 100 million. Are we going to cut our losses? Or are we going to try again? And they tried again and again and again.
I mean, that's just something that gets you the experience. So, like, younger studios, like, some people cannot learn from other people's mistakes. They have to do those mistakes themselves. But like, companies who can learn from other people's mistakes will always be a bit more successful because they know, like, hey, maybe this is a similar situation to this company, what they've been through. How about we look into that?
Yeah.
Like, things like this, or second guessing yourself, like reevaluating, like, on the regular, is not something a lot of newer companies can do. But I think, like, with Blizzard and with Overwatch, by now they have enough experience
I mean,
over things like that, so they actually know, like, hey, maybe we should stop here. And I mean, they did, and it happened. And I mean, they're still trying with story. So
yeah, they've kind of channeled their efforts into a different way, which is kind of the best thing you can do when you realize something's not working to that extent. But like, yeah, it can just be really difficult when you are super into something and you are super looking forward to like working on something and really proud of the bits that you have managed to achieve. It can be so difficult to let that go.
It is, because it's
so difficult to let that go.
One thing that you shouldn't underestimate is that the bigger the company, the more people you have in seats that are kind of making these decisions, but they don't think as one hive mind. They'll have their agenda. So you have corporate that is looking at the loss that you made. So they have a different motivation than the people on the work floor that just want to make this awesome game and have this awesome idea. And then you have leadership that is like, I don't want to disappoint the people that are kind of so passionate about this. I don't want to take away their dream. And I also want to make sure that we don't kind of burn all our resources. You get all these complicated situations where everybody is approaching it from their own angle, which in some cases will just kind of make things freeze and kind of make him just stay in spot because everybody's. I think that is something that happened. I wasn't there. I haven't talked to anybody, but they don't talk about this shit. But just from looking from the outside and kind of seeing those similar stories in other studios, smaller and bigger studios, I can understand that you just get to this point where everybody's looking at each other like, what are we doing? What are we doing? I don't know. I don't want to take the responsibility. And then you get this one person coming in, and I've said this before, but I think it's not all up to Jared Nurse joining the team, but I think he is a huge influence in that, and that is always the case. If you bring in someone externally that has the right mindset, I don't know if you know the story about BioShock Infinite. BioShock Infinite was kind of a same story. It was just not materializing. The ideas that they had were not connecting to each other. It really was a huge mess, and they had some really creative minds. I can't think of his name. The person that kind of thought up the whole BioShock universe. He was a genius game designer, had great ideas, but he also kind of got in this little loop, and the whole studio got in this little loop where they were trying over and over again, and they couldn't find it. And then they brought someone in externally that just went like, okay, we're just going to cut this off, we're going to this. They just kind of looked at it from his standpoint. Oh, shit, I didn't put my fan up.
No!
I didn't put my fan up.
The camera.
Oh, rookie mistake.
Return to us.
Please come back.
Next week, that's not going to be a problem anymore
because I have to do it. He runs away into the distance. Goodbye.
Yeah, I'm still here. I was just putting up the fan. Let's try that again. I have a fan up now. It should be okay.
Something objective viewpoint.
Wait.
Not quite blinded by passion.
Yeah, no. So they brought someone in that just kind of looked from their standpoint at the whole story and kind of the whole thing, and they reorganized the whole shabam. They basically made sure that the product ended up on the shop in the shops, because that was still in the shops back then. It wasn't as digital as it is now, and it wasn't the product that everybody in the team wanted to make. It's not the product that the community expected, but it was a product. And in the end, if you look back at it now, people will tell you, like, it's not a BioShock game, but it's a good game. That is the kind of the consensus on BioShock Infinite.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the feedback back in the day on BioShock Infinite was that it was so very different while still similar as the other BioShock games. But that doesn't take away from it being a good game. And I think something similar happened here, where people were brought in that just kind of looked at the situation. They are just as passionate about the industry and whatever, but they just don't have that history. And they kind of like, oh yeah, we need to cut this, we need to move this, we need to kind of postpone this.
They don't have that sort of almost sentimental attachment.
Yeah.
That makes it harder to let things
You didn't go through
sometimes.
the battles, you didn't go through the fights, but you can still look at the
Yeah.
end and go, like, this is the strategy moving forward. I think that is good for any studio and any project. Now, to go back to Larian, where we kind of started out in this whole conversation, they made a lot of mistakes in the last 20 years. I've told this story before, but they've been going at this for a long time. And back in the day, when I was about to join the team, they had this one game that flopped tremendously. That was also a passion of them, because they wanted to combine an RTS with dragon flying. It was Dragon Commander was the game called. But it was so much that they tried to attach to each other that the game didn't really work. And it's after that they learned the lesson. They were like, okay, we need laser focus. And they basically extended that into what they did with Baldur's Gate, Divine Divinity, and whatnot. And all these things kind of led to what they did right now. And they didn't have any interference by corporate that was like, yeah, but we need money to come in. They didn't have shareholders that need to pay a shit ton of money every single year. So they could just kind of learn and take their steps forward. And that's why people often say, why did we have more of these unique games back in the day, or these bigger kind of memorable games, and now it's kind of divided? Well, there's more studios, but two, there was less interference back in the day. People were just kind of learning, making mistakes, and from those mistakes they learned what the next step should be, and that is the process in the end.
The mistakes were bad sometimes back in the day, but the consequences today, or the stakes, are for like some studios are just a lot higher.
They are.
Yeah, like I was saying to a friend recently, like gaming getting big and getting popular is both the best and worst thing to happen to the industry simultaneously.
Yeah.
Because it, like, it's great that, sort of there's so much choice these days because it's so big, and it's, almost want to say like it's more socially acceptable, and like it's easier to get hold of merch and things like that. But then also you've got like these big companies overhead that want their pennies and their millions and their yachts, and will just push it. They will push it so much, and like they want sort of as much money for as little work as possible. And that's when you get like these sort of clones and these patterns emerging all the time.
That's how you get weapon skins for 60 euros.
Yeah.
That's actually a good segue. But yeah, I fully agree. It's like the best and the worst thing that ever happened to the industry, but it was inevitable.
Yeah.
And I think Baldur's Gate, to kind of round up that topic, I hope Baldur's Gate opens the eyes for a lot of, I'm not going to say the Bobby Kotick's are never going to be swayed. They are too stubborn, they're too stupid. They think they're really smart, but they have no freaking clue how to make a decent game. But I think there's a lot of people in there that are kind of doing what the others are doing because they think that's the way forward, that might look at this and go like, oh wait, there are better ways. We need to trust in our people. We need to trust in the professionals. And that will change their course, I hope, at least. I don't know.
If you make a good product, the people will come naturally and pay for it and buy it. Like
Yeah.
people will want to pay good money for a good product,
Yeah.
but it has to be a good
Absolutely.
product first.
You can
Yeah.
convince, and even if you're a niche product, like Baldur's Gate is not that is not a very how do you say, commercial kind of type of game.
I
It
know
is kind of
it's-
niche, but there's so many people that played it.
I know so many people who were not really into Baldur's Gate, like D&D at all, but bought Baldur's Gate just because of the possibilities, also because of like character design and everything, and like that got into Dungeons and Dragons because of it, because it was so
Yeah.
well made.
Yeah.
And you see it so often where people are like, it's really not my kind of game usually, but so many people have said good things about it that I am genuinely curious and I want to experience that for myself. Like,
That was Overwatch with me. I wasn't really into shooters, but people
Same.
introduced me
Yeah.
into Overwatch, and I was like,
Yeah.
huh, this is different. This is cool. I'll play it.
This is fun.
Yeah, exactly. So I think this is kind of a benchmark, that this becomes some type of benchmark where corporate goons start to think like, okay, we just need to make good products and that's it. It's going to be okay in the end. All right, but let's just segue. We were talking about weapon skins for $60, and I think that is a beautiful segue into what happened in season 8 that was released this week.
Mhm.
We got MAGA added.
We did.
We got a new event that started with the Hunt of the Beast. It's called the Beast, whatever. What is the name of it? It's Call of the Beast is the name of the season. Is this
No.
name of the season? Yeah, but the event is
All of
called
the Hunt.
Call of the Hunt is the name of the season. Yeah, but the event is called the
Battle
brawl
of
itself.
the Beasts.
Battle of the
Battle of
Beast.
the
Yeah,
Beasts. Thank you.
I've tried it a few times. Once on stream with Frozen and other few people, but we didn't understand at all. Look, Blizzard, if you make these modes, at least kind of.
I wasn't there, D.
Were you there?
No, I wasn't
Oh.
there.
I thought you were there.
I
But
was working that night. No.
Oh yeah, okay. But there were some people in my community that were joining me to play that game, but we didn't have a freaking clue what we were doing. Like there were some audio cues, but it wasn't really very clear. And anyways, but then we kind of figured out what we needed to do. I tried it a few times afterwards, and yeah, I think it's a good idea, but I don't know. I'm not. Have you guys tried it?
No, because of the PS5 problems this week.
Oh yeah. You
It's
only
fixed
got the
now, which is
PlayStation.
great,
Yeah,
but
since yesterday.
I've got other things.
Yeah.
I
to do, so.
tried it, and it's interesting in a way that you can win through a lot of different means.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to like have that one play style of that game mode, and that like is gonna be the best one to help you win. It is quite different sometimes what can make you win. I played like the day after it released. I played with Ryan, and we actually like we got rolled in like the first 2 lives of our Orisa. We got completely rolled, but I just pocketed our Orisa like after that, and we actually won that game just because I pocketed the Orisa because the other people didn't think about healing their Orisa, which was very interesting because like at first I didn't know you could heal them. You could heal your beast, your ground beast.
Yeah, you can. Let me quickly explain it for the people that haven't played it yet. So basically, you have 2 teams of 4 people. You have a wide selection of supports and DPS, but there's only one tank, and that's MAGA. But everybody, you don't need to have MAGA unlocked to play him. But he's going to be your tank, and you basically each team has this big beast, which is Orisa and her new mythic skin. And you basically, what is the arena in the middle of New Junk City is where they'll be fighting each other. So they face each other and they do these abilities both against each other, but also against the teams that are, well, like Frozen said, are either trying to heal their beast, they're trying to kill the enemy beast, but you also have to take care of the other players that are trying to do the similar thing to their beast or your beast. Like you get this whole thing going on. And once, I don't know exactly what the threshold is, but there is a threshold at some point where the game switches and you need to find these basically big batteries. There's some charge in these devices. And then you need to fight for that point. Whoever captures that point ends up getting the most energy or the most battery charge for the beast. That thing flies over. I tried shooting at it. You can't stop it. I thought, why not? Maybe let's just try and shoot it so they don't get it. No, it doesn't help. And then the Orisas get charged again and the battle starts over. You have all these different phases. It's kind of like a World of Warcraft boss fight. spread all over New Junk City without any idea what the frick is happening. And it is a very interesting idea, but the execution is so, like you said, Frozen, you can have all these different approaches, but if you do it with a random team, every single member has a different approach. So you have a Bastion that is constantly shooting the enemy Orisa, while the enemy team is actually killing your supports, and kind of, you get this whole different dynamic. I think it's best experienced in a pre-made group where you can communicate.
Definitely.
Yeah,
It sounds kind of wild.
it is
It
wild.
depends.
Yeah.
It is wild, but like depending, like we were 2-stack, and actually our players that joined us were quite nice, because in that game mode you kind of need 2 supports.
Yeah, you do.
Because
Yeah.
like otherwise you like everyone's just gonna die constantly. But we figured out like Baptiste and Mercy are a very good combo because of the res, and also shit ton of damage Marga does, but like out of Baptiste's window. You can just melt the enemy Orisa. That's crazy.
Yeah. You see that health bar just go.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But you can like, if you have like teammates that will like be like, hey, and then you will like, hey, can you maybe play Baptiste? We kind of need one, and they'll be like, hey, yeah, sure, okay. We had that a few times, and were quite nice. Sometimes you have
Yay.
people who are stuck, but mostly I had nice people playing with us, so that wasn't really an issue. Also, like you kind of have to adjust yourself onto the playstyle of like your teammates, especially as a support. Like I would usually pick Mercy, and I like had to adjust myself, like help my fellow support tank, and then like try to keep our DPS alive as best as we could.
Yeah, and
because
I think it also makes a huge difference if you're only like 2 people, that you at least have the tank in your team, because the Maga is going to be that basically, it's the leader. Everybody will be following, no matter what your strategy is. Everybody's going to be kind of doing what the Maga is doing.
It's necessary. Like we had some teams, like enemy teams, who just didn't pick Maga for some reason, and we just
they
rolled
just
them.
didn't have a tank.
They didn't have a tank.
They just didn't have a tank, and that's like death sentence.
Yeah, that is impossible. It's impossible. You need to have Maga. He's that also kind of, Maga was released this season. I've heard so many different opinions on him. It's kind of insane, which is funny, because look, we're just a few days in. Guys, just chill. Nobody knows how to play him. Nobody knows how to counter him.
I was going to say, is this more opinions than normal, or is this just a new hero released in Overwatch? Everyone thinks they're the best.
It's a hero release plus, because his like Frozen said, he can have these moments where he just kind of just blows everything up. But those are moments overall. If you kind of look at the graph, how he performs, it's just going to be a few peaks within a whole fight or a whole battle that he's going to make a difference. And for the rest, he's actually working really hard to stay alive. That's what he's doing, keeping everybody away. And then you get these comments from with the high profile creators going like he's OP and whatnot. And I can imagine if you organize around him at top 500, you can do some awesome things. But I don't know. I've not, on our level, on platinum, somewhere between platinum, let's say between gold and diamond, I've not seen that sim going on. I mean, we can counter him pretty easily. It's not that big of an issue, in my opinion.
I mean, working with Morga has been a lot of fun for me, but that's because I don't know, like my playstyle kind of naturally aligns with him, how I play my support. So I found it kind of easy to play with my like teammate as a Morga, and also kind of figuring out how to counter the enemy Morga. So it was kind of a no-brainer for me how to approach it, especially since Ana is kind of a counter firm anyway.
Yeah, and a very good one. Even better than with Roadhog.
Crazy, I love it.
Yeah, Roadhog has this. He can be, if he's a flask, he can heal himself. But that lasts for what? How long is that? 3 seconds?
Yeah, not long.
And he just waits it out, and then he starts buffing and he heals himself up. Maga has a different issue. He can use his E ability to kind of give everybody health, including himself, on the damage you do. But if he gets flashed, that ability is also completely gone by then. He doesn't have any control over it. So if Ana is really smart and she sees him using his ult, she throws the flask on everybody. It's just useless. And then the supports can't keep him up. Then you see him, you just see him melt away. And then he has to hide. He needs to duck back. Or
that's the thing. He needs a good support, and then he can feel dominating, even though he might not be, but he can feel like it.
Yeah, it's a perception
Which
thing.
might be
But
the
I
perception
feel
thing
like
again.
Ramacha is kind of similar.
Yeah,
like he'll have these periods where like he won't do much and he won't feel like there's much of an impact, and suddenly there'll be like these peaks where like he's ulting and he will just melt through people and then go back to being this squishy little tiny thing that you're not too bothered about.
Well, that
He's
was season
very
7.
strong.
That was season 7 Armata.
That's true.
Season 8
That's
Armata. Oh my!
Ramatra now is scary.
He
He's
is
so scary.
He's so under the radar because everybody's looking at Maga, everybody's looking at Roadhog, but Maga is just somewhere from the back with his new big projectiles and his, I don't know. Just I played a lot of Ramata in the last few days because judging on the patch note, I was like, I think this is underestimated. I think this is going to be a buff that is going to bring him back. He's going to be next to Sigma. He's going to be that tank that everybody's like, why are you playing Ramata? Why are you playing Sigma? Everybody's kind of like, why do you keep playing? Why is he so good at the top tiers? Well, he's consistent. That's it. And he has a nice output, but he can also play he just is like a Swiss knife tank. It's just he is very versatile. Nice. And Ramata is kind of in that same spot right now, according to me at least, where he can take a lot of control, but he can also output a lot of damage. Like his Vortex, I've been using that way too little. I underestimate the power of his Vortex.
And it's incredibly frustrating as a mobile support.
Yeah.
But me personally, I use it too little. And then you get in the situation where now his little petty form is actually pretty strong, and I use his Hulk form when I see like a Reinhardt coming at me. Like, all right, dude, I'm going to punch right through that shield. You're dead. You're dead. Same with Maga. He counters Maga pretty well because Maga gets pretty in close. You just Hulk up. You start punching him in the face, and he's going down, man. He's going down. Especially when you have Frozen behind you with a flask.
Yeah. It's going to be very interesting to see the perception, because with those like changes, buffs, nerfs, like changing the meta, like of course a lot of eyes were going to be on Maga with his like buffs after a while, but it's very interesting because right now you can like see in real life how sometimes the perception can form, because for a lot of people Maga feels very dominating right now, maybe because they don't know how to counter him, or they like haven't figured out his playstyle quite yet. So like a lot of people, like a lot of voices are very loud about him, like being OP or something like that. So people like Ramatra, like you said, kind of fall under the radar, which happens to like Reinhardt or Sigmar, like those kind of heroes who are actually pretty useful and quite strong, but people don't complain because they had more like important things to worry about. So that's maybe like also what kind of happened with Orisa. That like she was a big thing, everyone was talking about her, and like another tank also got buffed in that same vicinity, but not a lot of people were talking about them. So I kind of fear that Maga could fall into the same issue as Orisa has. A lot of people are going to say, it's a safe pick. You would just want to win, pick Maga, like run them over. And it could be something we may see. Like I'm kind of afraid of that.
Might be. Like I don't know if it's going to be on the same level as Orisa, because I've seen something else happen too. But before I go into that, oh shit, there was something I had on my mind. Oh yeah, because of the one thing, the big comment that I've seen and that I've seen even in game and chat, is that it's pay to win because he's in a battle pass. And I think that also kind of adds to that perception issue.
It does, yeah.
Because some big voices in the community use that as a hook to make content about, like, oh, Overwatch is pay to win because Maga is the strongest hero. While I do not think the team is looking at it this way, what they've said in the past.
They're not thinking about it like that at all.
No.
Like,
they're looking at
with every hero that they release, they try and balance them against each other. We've seen it before where heroes have been balanced, like in the final patch before a new hero is released, and those balance changes don't make sense until we see the new hero.
Yeah.
You know, they're thinking about Overwatch as a whole. They're not just like, oh, we want to make a new character that's really, really good and really, really powerful, and then we're going to make loads of money off of them. I don't believe that they've ever thought like that. ever.
We do know that they make him a little OP at the start because they don't want to have to, like in the first balancing patch, they want to tune him down because that is more of a better experience and that is an easier experience and a easier way to do it than to have to incrementally kind of tick up, because it just makes sense. If you start out OP, you can tune him back in the next patch and you basically have this window of 4 weeks where things might be a little imbalanced. If you need to incrementally kind of tick up because you're afraid to kind of compensate.
You don't want to go up and then go back down again.
Exactly. You just kind of want to start somewhere that is right above what you think is good and then bring it down a tiny bit later on. And then you get a lot more people that are interested to play, but you also get a lot more data. And it's not about the money, because I don't think, I'm going to be really honest, I think the amount of people that buy the battle pass just to unlock the hero immediately I don't think that is a big group of people. I think people are just either more deciding on the whole of the battle pass, if they want to buy it or not, and the hero is just an afterthought. So I don't see that. It's just, you want as much data as possible. And how do you get a lot of data with a lot of people trying to play him? That being said, I don't know if you guys noticed this too, but when Sombra was reworked, we saw her being picked as one of the DPS way, let's say like 3 or 4 weeks in, and then it slowly started to settle into what it is now.
Yeah.
With Roadhog, it took like a week and a half, 2 weeks. With Maga, I'm feeling like already, only like me personally, I've only seen like every 1 out of 6 matches is a Maga right now. And then, then you have another one that counterpicks a Maga.
Yeah, normally people take like two weeks to get
bored of it. Yeah, a little longer. I don't know.
Maybe people are intimidated by his kit, or
I don't know. It might also be the fact that people like it's a perception thing. Like they might not think that they're doing it right because they don't feel that thing that everybody's talking about.
Yeah, they've heard that he's this OP hero and they can't make him an OP hero.
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking that is happening, which adds to the whole idea that it's a perception issue. I think that is going to level out.
How much of, like, alongside this perception was down to the fact that he received like 11 buffs.
Oh yeah, to start right after. Yeah.
Like, I wonder how many people just looked at the patch notes or heard a content creator talk about the patch notes and went, they buffed him 11 times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's very easy to assume that they increased his damage 11 times. Like, that's not what buffing means necessarily.
No.
But it's like, it's really easy to hear, oh my god, this tank has been buffed 11 times. He's clearly going to be OP. Like, that's insane. Why wouldn't he be OP?
Yeah, no, the only thing they actually really, like, they buffed him a lot, but what they were focusing was his survivability, not even his damage.
Yeah.
Not everyone knows what survivability means, or when they just hear buffs, they don't necessarily think about like being able to survive longer.
Yeah.
So that's might be a very like good contributor to why people think that he's that OP of a character while he's really not.
Yeah. I called him in one of my streams, I called him a glass tank because that's what he is. He is.
Yeah.
He can just kind of, if you don't address him at that point, he'll just wipe you. But if you kind of control him, you kind of blast him out of the picture really fast. I've had so many Magas that I made switch to another tank just by, even on Ramatra, or Orisa also does a good job. There's quite a few tanks that counter him pretty easily, like Zarya. And I think that is something temporarily, but so many of these Magas are so trigger happy that they will just kind of charge your beam to 100 instantly. The same thing we saw with Orisa. Like an Orisa will just kind of stand there, or Roadhog too. I've talked about this one instance where Roadhog got me my Orisa ult within a minute. Like, that is insane. Orisa's ult is like...
Roadhogs are the best batteries though. Roadhog has always been a fantastic battery.
Exactly. Because they keep healing themselves and shooting, and they do not move aside. They're not like, I'm going to take cover. No, I can heal myself. It's fine. And if not, I'll yell at my supports to heal me more. It's kind of insane.
Yeah.
But anyways, Maga, I think the last thing has not been said about him. I'm actually working on a video about him that I'm going to release this week that is basically saying what I said at the start of this. Everybody's complaining, but it's so soon. Just wait it out. You're all kind of the perception issue is
Get
playing
used
again.
to him.
Yeah.
Like, get used to playing him, get used to playing against him,
Mm.
and then make the judgment call.
Get to know
Exactly.
when to use his abilities. Maybe not
Mhm.
charge in immediately, but maybe like use that to get away from something, since you can't be
That's
slapped and like
possible,
things
yeah.
can't be used.
If
Because
you would-
I've seen a lot of Magas who just charged in and died.
Yeah, the
But
Reinhardt
then
trick.
exactly, the Reinhardt trick. Like the Reinhardt charging at me and I just sleep him. Like
Yeah.
because
No.
but also like friends of mine who play Maga who use his charge very differently to like maybe use it to like get away from something, or if there's an ult because of the damage reduction, like use a charge for a very short amount of time because like you can survive an D.Va ult easily with that.
Yeah.
Like just use his kits smarter, but that
Jason-
takes
Jason-
time.
They'll call him OP.
Chase down an enemy Mercy that is about to die.
He's way too OP. He doesn't need more survivability.
Yeah, you need to be good at your timing to pull that all off. But yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. If you're playing him like Reinhardt and just charging in, like, or he's not Doomfist, he can't just get away. He can't jump out.
No,
By the
you
way-
can get in or you can get out. You cannot do both.
Yeah, exactly.
Quite surprised that I haven't seen more Doomfist players. I've seen like not a lot of Doomfist, but not an increase of
No,
Doomfists.
I think the
Can
healing
see-
is helping, but it's not having an impact on his. Like, let's say that it has an impact on about 5% of his whole arc of what he
Mhm.
does. And when he
Yeah.
ults, a Doomfist will often get themselves in trouble right at the end, and they'll get a little. When they notice that their ult is almost charged, they'll get a little more brave and kind of don't pull back as fast as they should. And that's when they get themselves in trouble. And now they can heal themselves, so they don't have to kind of vacate and fall back all the way behind the enemy or behind the friendly lines and trying to recuperate there. I think that's the only moment that they got benefit out. One thing that I'm surprised about, and that I think we're going to see change, like Ramatra, fine. Winston will
Yes.
burn through an Orisa and like anybody with armor extremely fast.
God, I played a bit of Mayhem recently just because I felt like it. And Winston and Mayhem is just so crazy.
Yeah, the buff they
God,
did
like,
with his Tesla
The
on it
buff is just ridiculous.
Yep. Yeah, I think that is also one of those buffs that a lot of people are not noticing because everybody's looking at Maga. They did a few changes to the tank role that we are not fully
it's across the
comprehending just yet.
board.
Yeah, and once Maga starts to settle and we start to spread all over all the rest again, which is happening faster than I thought, we're going to see these little buffs that are going. I've seen a lot more Winston and Ramatra.
Yeah, I
in general.
do wonder if, like with these buffs, if I'm not saying they are overtuned, but like for Winston, for example, if Winston is overtuned and slightly stronger than he should be, there's going to be a delay on recognizing that if people just aren't playing him, they aren't paying attention to him, they're focusing on the new hero too much, which is, unfortunate.
Yeah, I do think
It's
there's going to
almost
be
like a
delays.
self-fulfilling prophecy. It's just with a tank that people aren't looking at.
Yeah. But I mean, the next balancing patch is going to be the mid-season patch, which I don't expect before New Year's. So
no, they're not gonna. No.
so we will still have like the rest of the year to kind of figure all that out. So yeah, there's definitely going to be delay on it, but hopefully it will kind of fall within the. They'll figure it out. They are looking at the numbers. They have a quick overview of how things are working out. They'll know before we know.
Gotta say, I picked up tank a few times on purpose since the changes to the tanks or the little buffs. It makes playing tank feel impactful again.
Better, definitely better. Yeah, it definitely feels better. I still think like there are a few tanks out there that might need a little love or need a little more of that, a little more of those brawlers elements to them. But overall, yeah, definitely there's a shift in the whole sense of playing a tank. I think Ramatra is feeling fresh. Winston is feeling more powerful. You have a new Maga. Well, Doomfist has a little extra to his kit. I think overall you see these little improvements that are going to be interesting. All right, we still have a few other things to discuss before we. I just see the clock ticking and ticking. We don't want this to become a 2-hour podcast.
Speed run.
Yeah.
Let's go.
There's of course the battle pass. We talked about the event.
Right,
We talked about
next.
Maga. What do you guys think about the skins we got to see out of the battle pass?
Cute.
All right,
Next.
we're done. Next.
I think you know what I'm gonna say. I love the Ana skin.
The Ana skin is so good.
It's one of my favorite skins from all the hunter skins. Like, okay, you have an egg that's like, okay, Hammond.
Listen, Hammond will always do what Hammond does. He will be the pumpkin. He will be the egg. He is born.
Yeah,
it's
he
not.
do these things. You can't help it.
I didn't think the season was necessarily my style of season, since like it's like very themed towards like Monster Hunter.
Totally not Monster Hunter, honest girl.
Totally, definitely not. But
totally, definitely not.
Ana is just one of the best skins in that battle pass for me, since it like really encompasses like I heard Dee talk about like the parts of the monster incorporated into the outfit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and like
which is a very Monster Hunter thing.
Yeah, like and her eyes, like love her eyes that they made like show both of her eyes, but like one has the scar and it's like slightly milky. That is like blind. It's really cool.
Did you notice that Maga also has a blind eye in his skin?
I saw that's very interesting. Yeah, he does.
He only has it in that what is it? Cracker skin, something like that.
His big toothy,
toothy skin. He has I used it in the thumbnail for a video, and I noticed.
Yeah, I noticed when I got that skin from the battle pass.
Oh yeah, stop bragging already. She was a level 60 the day after, man. Level 60 the day after the battle pass release.
No, what?
She didn't sleep at all. She just kept playing. It's not like she had 20 levels from the previous season or 20 levels from the Ultimate Pass.
I got a lot of seasons back because I figured out, wait, I have Prime Gaming. Wait.
She had 40 levels before the season even started. So.
Yeah, basically.
These kids today, man, that's what I'm saying.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, I like the Ana skin a lot. I like the Maga skin. The Junker Queen skin is kind of okay too. Other than that, I feel I'm going to talk about that in a video. Like I'm just pimping or kind of promoting all my videos here. But yeah, I think overall it's kind of like I feel like the previous season had more interesting skins for me, where I felt like, oh, I like this better.
Yeah, like personally, the previous season was more my jam, but that doesn't mean I can't appreciate the quality of some of the skins. Like.
Yeah, exactly. The only one that I'm like, what the hell is this doing in here? Well, the Lucia one is weird. I'm going to be honest. I'm a Lucia player, and it just
kind of odd.
It's just,
I feel like that's a spare concept that they had and they didn't know where to put it, so they just threw it in the battle pass.
Like
Reaper is the biggest one for me. Yeah, like Toxic Reaper. What the hell?
I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of yellow anyway, but like having this big yellow Reaper approaching you is like feels wrong.
giant beasts hunting wilderness hazmat suits.
Yeah, but
toxic waste.
It's weird. They have wasted it. They have mixed in this whole toxic team. But they have done that. Like we've seen some of these skins in previous seasons. It's like
it's true.
They have seasonal themes, and then they have these themes that they probably were going to make a season for at some point. Then realized
so they just kept the skin and threw it in.
Exactly, they mix it in because there was this. They did this survey apparently in the last few weeks that showed off a lot of the skin themes that they were working on, asking people.
So gorgeous.
Yeah, like right, the kitty skins. I get it. The kitty skins, the ladies and the kitty skins, man. That's all. Look at them. If you're not watching this podcast on YouTube, you're missing out. I'm going to say it again.
The stellar skins, the like star themed ones were so pretty.
Yeah. But the toxics were in there too. So I think they have these kind of batches of skins that they maybe want to do a season with, or they decide not to, and then just kind of trickle them in. And I don't know. I feel like
or like just 3 skins for an event, kind of like what they're doing with the winter thing.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about the winter pass. What about you guys?
I don't know. I mean,
how many battle passes do you want on your battle pass?
Yeah, if you want to get them, it's 500 coins from what I remember.
5 years, yeah.
And even without paying, you can get like 1 skin for free, which I feel like is fair.
Which is great.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to pay for it, it's like $5 for 4 skins and a lot of shit, which I feel like is fair as long as they don't raise the price.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just don't know how I feel about like
Mm.
it's starting to feel like an overly monetized mobile game where you've got like 3 different passes to choose from, and oh, here's a special pack where if you spend this much, you get like 1 shiny thing and a lot of trash. And I know things are changing because I know he's going, but I feel like this is a crazy last minute cash grab for the man and his pet yacht.
I'm going to be honest, Anna. I don't think it's that the
Yeah.
case because I think this
I know.
is a test of what the future battle pass could look like. We know there's going to be a battle pass, and that is actually the video that went live. Like, I'm here we go with the videos. I'm sorry, I'm trying to make a living here. But
No,
15 minutes
I know
ago,
they're changing things,
yeah,
and I know
I made a whole video about it.
isn't all doom and gloom, but it's really easy to look at it and go, "Please don't do this
Yeah,
again.
but listen,
Please don't do this again."
Hear me out. Maybe you'll change your mind. Like, I
Okay,
think this
okay.
whole system where they give you tokens instead of what you basically now have is a progression system that locks you in for a certain trajectory, and as you move forward, you get a lot of shit that you do not care about. Like, I don't need souvenirs. I'm fine. I don't use them. Who fucking cares? Like voice lines, whatever. I only use one spray ever. It's my Yakimon, dude, man. Like I'm pointing at it.
Yeah, where is he? Come on.
There he is. There's my little
There he
buddy.
goes.
I know it's weird that my favorite spray is a little sausage man that looks pinker than pink. But anyways, I'm going to talk
his
about
little pink sausage.
Yeah, exactly. I'll talk to my shrink about that. But you basically are forced to make. You don't get any choice. You just kind of have progress to this thing. With the system that they're now introducing for the Winter Wonderland event, what I'm thinking that they're doing is testing for themselves and for us how it could work if you just have these tickets and you can spend the tickets like you do at a carnival. You can spend them however you want. You look at the whole price drag that you have and you go like, okay, I have like 100 tickets. What do I want to buy? I want to buy that skin.
I've at least got my favorite thing first, and then I can work down my list.
But even, like, they told us that we're going to get a choice out of which mythic skin we get. Yeah, they're going to do it that way. All the mythic skins are going to be on the top rack. And you spend all your coins or all your tickets that you got that season, you can spend them all, or like, let's say 60% of them if you bought the premium pass. You can spend 60% of them on that other mythic skin. You buy the normal mythic skin and the other one that you didn't catch because you weren't playing back then. And it gives you the choice of getting both the mythic skins. Maybe you get, or you kind of save up. And at the end of the season, they take all your tickets and they change them into credits. And at that point, everything that was in that season, the next season goes into the credit shop.
So, also, you don't lose anything. You still get your money's worth.
Yeah.
Like, you don't, even if you don't pay for, like, hey, those 4 skins, I don't really want any of them. I might get those tickets anyway. Get the cash out of it, and maybe I can buy another skin that I want.
Yeah.
It's can seem weird. I get where you're coming from, but also that they're introducing choice in the matter is very nice.
Which is fantastic. I like the concept of the winter pass. I like the concept of choice. I just don't like the idea of having a winter pass on top of a battle pass.
Totally get it. But
that's what I don't like.
If that is the step they need to take to kind of eventually move the main battle pass into that direction, I'm fine with it. And then, you know what? For all I care, they can add like event passes on top of that, do these mini events where they actually do the premium. I wouldn't care because at that point I would get value for my $10 I pay. And I wouldn't feel like I'm I'm paying $10 for 6 items. That's what I'm doing because there's 6 items out of the whole battle pass that I'm interested in. I'm interested. I'm really kind of putting the bar at the level like, oh, that's kind of nice. I will occasionally use it because if I'm being really honest, in every season there's maybe like last season there were at least 3 or 4 items I wanted. This season I'm like, okay, the Anna skin. Oh, got it. Nice.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Anyway, we'll just get stuff as we go.
Yeah, exactly. That is I mean, if we can get like a big battle pass at $10 where we get those items, and they probably will leave the hero in, but you'll get the hero as soon as you get enough coins to buy him, and that doesn't necessarily have to be level 45 or tickets. But I hope they remove him. I don't think the adding the hero to the battle pass has made a substantial difference in their sales. I think it was probably something someone wanted to try. I'm not even going to point at anybody, but I don't think it really contributes because there's a lot more motivators for people to buy that pass than just that hero
Yeah.
and hero.
It's probably rather something to look at as they're trying things out and it's progress, rather than this is how
Yeah.
it's gonna be forever now.
Mm.
But they're like in their realms of this is what we can do. They're trying out new stuff, and we will see with time what that gets
I
us.
will wait with bated breath.
Yeah.
And
I
Hannah, a
hope
few more
it's
weeks, a
not
few
a
more
sign
weeks.
of things to come.
Mhm.
I hope it's a sign of change.
Yeah, exactly,
and
exactly.
you don't have to buy it if you don't wanna. But like
No.
some people like want all of those 4 skins. Like
I
I
mean,
know we know some people in the community that
I've said that I
Some
will
people-
give them so much money the day he leaves.
mm,
And I will stick to that. I will
Mm.
buy something expensive
mm.
the day
Like-
he leaves.
Yeah.
But like even like getting one of those skins just for free by playing anyways is
Yeah,
kind of nice.
it's lovely. Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah, that's
And-
more. That's more than we got in the last New Year's event. I mean, that was
definitely.
we got a new skin. I think that was the Echo skin. Did we get it from the playing or was it from the shop? I don't remember exactly.
I'm not sure.
Can't
Yeah.
remember.
But there have been plenty of events that we did where we
Mm.
ended up with either an epic skin or not even a skin, or
Yeah.
an old skin that they reintroduced for the
Mm.
challenges or whatnot. And I think like a system where they give you a choice, where they give you opportunity. I really honestly think that they want to make this battle pass in something that we like and that makes
Mm.
them money, not as something that
Yeah.
makes them money and that we look at like, yeah, okay, I'll do it.
I
but
mean-
I feel raped.
If they think about it with any sense, that is the way to make the most money.
Yeah, it is. It is. I've said this like a million
I
times.
know.
You see these skins, like I think a lot of these companies are looking at each other like Valorant is selling skins at $60. I mean, they can get away
If
with
they
it.
can do it, we
Yeah,
can.
but that's not the way forward. The way forward is how can we sell as much of these as possible? You need to look at your net balance sheet and you need to realize like if we make them a little cheaper, there's going to be way more people that are going to buy into it.
Mm.
But I think at this point, there's so many people already that buy into it that they don't care, that they just kind of want to push the limits from a corporate side.
Also,
But
just make it more fun to get things. Doesn't feel like I have to buy everything manually, but like these implements of you can earn things, you can earn more things. It's just that feeling of accomplishment is gonna
Yeah.
get them further than just I paid $40 for those 3 skins that I might use once in
I've got
like
them
every
now.
blue moon.
Yeah. I think the ticket system is also going to feel more rewarding. Like it's really going to be because every single ticket you get is going to contribute to that thing you want. Right now, every level I get is just a level that is slowly grinding me towards probably an item that I want right at the end. Like I still want to get the Maga skin. I'm going to get the Orisa skin, no doubt. I'm going to complete my battle pass, but it's not the skin where I'm like, oh yeah, I might actually. I think Orisa has way better skins, and Maga
She has
none.
amazing skins. Like her reindeer skin is just
It's
Well, yeah.
adorable.
mm,
I'm in
can't get
Rubber
over
Ducky
Forest Spirit.
phase.
I
that's
still can't
also
get over
very
it.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm currently in the Rubber Ducky phase, but I'll get back to my first and then the demon and the whatnot.
Yeah.
But that new skin, the mythic skin, it's not going to be on the top. And with Maga, it's different because he has the lava, the magma skin.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, we're done.
I mean,
Yay!
hey, that's why I heard like the Ana skin. A lot of people saying this in this battle pass, the Ana skin. A lot of people like it more than her mythic skin, which
Me
I
personally
can't
too.
blame them for it.
Yeah, me too.
If I'm honest, like it is cooler, but it's like preference again. But
I
It's
yeah,
preference. So, yeah.
personally feel like
fits
the
her
hunter
better.
skin, because she is a sniper,
yeah.
the hunter aesthetic fits her incredibly well.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So you get a skin that's both very, very pretty and kind of reflective of the character. Whereas like the mythic skin that she got doesn't represent her at all.
No, it even makes her evil.
Represents an Omnic
Mm.
copying her.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like they picked her at that season because she's one of the OGs of Overwatch. That
Mm.
was like they looked at the lore and said, "Hey, we're gonna do support this season. What are our options? They're quite slim. Let's pick Ana." But
If we make a robot Mercy rather than a naked Mercy, they will riot and never play Overwatch again. So there has to be
the Mercy Mafia is gonna be after them if they touch their Mercy.
That sounds like their last choice. Like Overwatch ever comes to the point where it's about to fail. Yeah, Naked Mercy skin incoming.
Naked Mercy Mythic, let's go.
Imagine Mercy getting a bad Mythic skin. The riots. I'm scared.
Oh my god, they wouldn't.
I look at the reactions on the Mercy skin that is both in the Winter Wonderland event and this Chinese New Year that is squeezing in this season. The reactions have been, I have so many people in my chat going, hey, have you seen they've released 2 Mercy skins? Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
People are so
Mercy.
excited.
Yeah. And Mercy has so many skins.
She does. But anyways, we're still talking about skins and probably the last topic for this episode. We're already well over time. The weapon skins. That came out of nowhere. I'm not going to say nowhere in the sense that the community has been asking for this for a long time, but they never really kind of responded on that. And then suddenly we get these weapon skins. Now, for the people that don't know what we're talking about, starting with this season, there's going to be basically the old golden weapons are changed to weapon variables or variations. Sorry. And now you get weapon skins as a separate category in the whole cosmetics in the hero gallery. And in this season, they're going to release hard light weapons only for 3 heroes, though, for Reaper, Mercy, and Reinhardt. And those will basically replace the model of your weapon on any skin that you use with that weapon skin. So it's not like you can
the models are considerably different, and they have their own sound effects and stuff. So
they have sound effects and whatnot.
It
exactly.
is a cool skin, whereas like the gold things are just recolors of whatever weapon you're.
They're just textures that are changed, and so you will be able to get a hard light weapon with a golden skin. So you'll have a golden hard light weapon. That is a possibility. That was not clear before the release, but now we know you can. And the way you can get these weapons, so we'll get probably more hard light weapons over the coming seasons, and probably different than hard light. Well, probably, I think, pretty surely. If this is a success, they'll keep building on it. The way you can get them is in the shop. So we've learned that they are 1,200 Overwatch coins each, which is pretty substantial. If you buy all 3 of them in one set, it will set you back 2,900, which I think is, I'm going to be honest, like a lot of money for a weapon skin. On the other hand, it is at least something
you see.
You see, so you're going to get most use out of it. Like with other skins, you see your weapon, and all the rest of the skin is just, there's more of the enjoyment of everybody else. So if you have your Naked Mercy skin, well, good luck with that.
You're showing off, really. You're not.
Yeah.
Observing.
You're kind of helping distracting your team, and the enemy team. But that's about it. So unless you're emoting, you kind of buying that for everybody else. While with this weapon skin, it is going to be in your view the whole time. And I'm not a big fan of the hard light weapons. I mean,
I don't play Reaper. He's not my jam at all. But I really like the sound of his hard light weapons.
Yeah.
It is such a good sound.
Yeah. I'm very.
I don't think it's what, like for me personally, they're not worth the price. But it is a good sound. I can appreciate the sound design.
I have to admit, the first time I saw those weapons, I felt like, wait, they made Echo into weapons?
It just is like they squeezed Echo into the shape of a hammer, and like.
Exactly.
Echo now transforms into singular weapons, not entire heroes.
It's just gonna be interesting to like customize your skins or like your loadouts even more. But also, I have a few skins where I just don't use them because the weapon is ugly, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So what could be nice to like being able to use a skin that I like and just change out the weapon.
But are you willing to pay the $1,200 or the 1,200 Overwatch coins?
Probably only for the heroes I actually play.
Yeah.
Like I would probably maybe
really
get it for Ana for a skin I really like, or I don't know, Mercy or Diva, even like characters I actually play, but it's not something you would get just to have them.
Yeah, like
yeah.
For me, I'm thinking about like Diva and Mercy. Like I know Diva's isn't out yet, but let's pretend it is. Mercy's weapon doesn't do a lot for me because I like the design on a lot of her weapons already. And it doesn't like do much for me personally. But D.Va's, her weapons are generally always the same. Like, her pistol changes a lot when you play as Baby D.Va. But, you know, like, her big weapons on her mech don't really change shape a lot. They just have things stuck on them. And I think, like, hard light weapons on the mech would look very, very, very cool. And I might be tempted. Maybe. Tiny bit.
I wonder if they if that is a possibility. Well, it most likely is, because the thing is with the mech really changes shapes sometimes in a very substantial way that it might become more difficult to switch a weapon in there. Like, every hero, their hands,
but
and the way they
the
can...
weapons themselves don't really change that much. It's
No,
always
are they always very similar
on them.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I'm not much of a D.Va player, so I'm not 100% familiar.
So like her Halloween skin, for example, it has candles on top of it.
Yeah, but the weapons
they're still the same base shape.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
it's always
good. Yeah. Look, if they release like shadow weapons that are just kind of made like when the Reaper kind of transforms and
like
that
the Reaper vibe.
Yeah. I might consider spending some money on that, on the Reinhardt hammer.
Gosh, Moira,
so you could be extra edgy.
Exactly. I'm always looking to ways to get more edgy. So.
Of course, you have to get more edgy.
Oh yeah, that's the golden rule.
Yeah.
But I still think that they're kind of overpriced. That is my when I heard that price, I was like, no, that is too much. Too much.
Maybe a lot of work, but I don't know about that one, Chief.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I mean, we'll see what the future brings with all these with these weapon skins and what else they have in store. I mean, this is a test. This is something that I think they kind of wanted to try and see how it works for us. I definitely think there's going to be plenty of people that will be buying it. So I do think this is something that is going to continue.
I feel like I know they wouldn't make as much money, but I feel like people would definitely be more inclined to buy them if it was with like the older currency.
Oh yeah.
I think credits rather than coins.
Yeah. I do think that is. I think that might be happening at some point. Like I think with that whole ticket system, they're kind of pushing closer to what I think they should do, is where you basically pay right now for season exclusivity, anything you have right now. Peter, my editor, told me yesterday that apparently Fortnite has a similar system. Fortnite has a system where it's a star system where you rack up stars and you can spend those stars, but then in the next season you can use another currency to buy them. They just kind of, all the skins in that season go into some type of credit store that you can buy like the other currency with, or that you can buy it with other currency and whatnot. They have a similar system, and I think they might be looking at that to adopt that in their own way, which would be nice. I mean, I don't need to get these hardlight weapons now, if ever. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of the aesthetic. But let's say that they release these shadow guns, I might be tempted to buy them this season. But let's say that they release them for a hero I don't play that often, and I'm like, it looks cool, but then I'll just buy him the next season. Yeah, I'll buy him next season with credits, with stuff that I can earn, which is better because I would never pay any money for them, but I will pay credits for them, so they get more use out of them while they will still make the same amount of money than they would before. Because that is basically the thing, right? There's only so much you can put in your store, period.
Yeah.
And all the rest is just kind of catching dust somewhere in a corner. Like, at least try and get them in people's hands later, and like make sure that people can buy them with credits.
Because then, and I've said this before as well, like it stops the work going to waste.
Yeah,
like it's the biggest problem I have with like these really, really pretty shop skins, is that they just don't get the same use because, like less people are able or want to buy them. And then you've got like a whole artist team that put all this work into the skin, and then it just doesn't get as much use.
Yeah.
Which is a shame.
It is a shame.
I want to appreciate their hard work.
Exactly.
It's so pretty, appreciate, but money. But in general, like Overwatch kind of like right now is a bit of this era of they're trying new things and like trying everything differently. It's of kind of like the start that we're gonna see here. And they're probably gonna do it some more until they figure more things out. But that's kind of like what we're heading towards. Just a lot of trying out and testing.
Yeah.
I think 2024, but we're going to talk about that next week. Next week, we're going to do an episode with all 4 of us. I already got an okay from LP that he's going to be joining us next week. And we're going to look back at the last year, but also look forward to the next year. But I do think 2024 is going to be the year in which they like 2023 was a year of cutting the past, kind of, okay, we have a lot of bad news.
Trying to get the ball rolling.
Yeah, we got a lot of bad news to share. We need to reorientate. We need to kind of, now they have a new direction. And what they're going to do now is, how do we get everybody on board? That is going to be 2024 with competitive 3.0 or whatever the number is. Someone told me it's already actually 4.0, but fine. The new competitive, the new battle pass, the new shop, all these system changes, all these new things that they're adding, all these balancing changes that they're adding. We've not talked this episode about the tests they want to do with hero locks and swap cards. We keep that for next year.
It's worth a try, I guess.
Yeah, I'm worried, but we'll talk about it next season if it materializes, because there's no use. They were maybe going to test it internally, so we're still far away from it actually being tested on us. But all these things that they're kind of trying are going to be things that they want to convince us and bring the Overwatch experience to that next level to be back on top again. And I mean, I've said it in a previous video that all that negativity, everybody was like, this game is dead, it's over, whatever. And I said at that moment, this too shall pass. It's been my I should make a t-shirt out of it.
You should.
Like, it is a thing where we think that things are going down and that everything is going to the shits. But I've seen that happen over the last, my whole life. I've seen that happen so many times. And then things just settle. They just settle and start flourishing again. It's look at our planet. Like, yeah, one day there's going to be no single human around here, but hopefully the planet will not be that damaged that she will repair herself. Yeah, she's going to repair herself, and she's going to find a new way to survive. And it's just us that need to be worried about what we do to our own future and our kids and whatnot, and all the other living creatures on this planet. But anyways, I just want to say, like, there's this cycle, and we're seeing the first signs of the fact that Overwatch is climbing back up. And was Dexerto, who we are not the biggest fans of, that said that gave him the award for the best for the live service game of the year, because they believe that Overwatch in this year has started to turn things around and that they're looking into the
they
future.
said something positive about Overwatch?
Yeah, they did. They gave him an award of all things.
Where? When? How?
check the Omnic Post Twitter account. I reposted it. I retweeted it.
I'm speechless.
Yeah, me too. I was kind of. I checked. I thought it was a fake account.
15 Overwatch, never.
They've spent the last year just anytime someone says, I don't like this, Overwatch fans lash out at latest skin design because somebody sneezed instead of complimenting it.
They released that tweet. They gave them the award, and since there have been at least 3 or 4 articles that do that over again. Overwatch 2 fans worry Maga's too OP. Ultimate signals power creep. Overwatch 2 this Wrecking-Ball is near to top. Okay, that's something different. Overwatch 2 fans upset which skin got Lunar New Year skins. Like, it's if you read the article, there's probably going to be like 1 or 2 people on Reddit that said something.
They saw one tweet and thought, we can write about this.
Yeah, but that's often how it goes, and they're always going to
that
pick
got
the
3
negative
likes. Clearly, that's the whole community because it's a dead game anyway. No, I'm sorry.
No, but they give him the award, and I think, to be honest, I think that is what we're seeing, and I think 2024 is going to be a very interesting year for Overwatch, but also for us as creators, as on this podcast, for me as a YouTuber and a streamer. I think there's going to be some interesting changes in 2024, and by the end of 2024, we'll be looking at all of this very differently. I probably from a box, because I'll be bankrupt. Right
you and your boxes, I swear.
But
it's like he wants to live in a box.
No, I'm going to have a huge villa. I'm going to have a huge villa, but I'm be sleeping in a box in that villa just to make a point, just to make sure I'm right. You know?
I want a picture of that box. Proof or it didn't happen.
Yeah.
I just worry, guys, but that's normal. That's me. But I do think the game is going in
I
a
know.
positive direction. I think it's going to be an interesting year. But we'll talk more about that next week. I
Yeah.
think that's the topic for next week. For this
we're
week, we're
kind
done.
of out of time now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We're so out of time.
We're 20 minutes late, man. People are like, hey, I already am waiting here on the parking lot of this office building where I had a meeting
So
that said
late to work.
Yeah. Round it up
Stop
already.
talking.
They need that little music they did on the Game Awards where they
We
just
do.
Yeah,
We
they play us
do.
out. But there was so much to talk about. Anyways, guys, well, let me start out with Hannah. Hannah, where can people find you on Instagrams and the Twitters?
At Plush Noodle.
Here we go. And Frozen.
At Frozen Unicorn.
There
And
we go.
obligatory the first, so it's a 0.
There we go. But we're going to have a T-shirt made where that is basically on there.
And we have a few t-shirts we need to make. This is why you don't leave games.
Yeah.
About my name, and you need a t-shirt too.
I feel like I should change one of the O's in Noodle, but make it the second O. So that you
Oh.
always say it's the first 0, and I always say it's the second one.
Oh my god.
Why? In any case, you can follow LP, who could not join us today, as Lance Pont, and myself as Damesy's TV on all those same platforms. Follow the Omnic post for all the updates on Overwatch. I'm saying we, but the ladies right here in the room with me put in a lot of work this week with everything. I was making videos while they were doing the post. We had the redesign that went out. I hope you guys like it.
It's very nice.
very
Well,
cute.
thank you. And then, but yeah, follow us for all your updates on Overwatch. Like anytime any news drops on Twitter and Instagram.
We'll get there eventually. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Well, we've been on time. We've been doing good.
We've been sped this
Yeah.
week.
And then, you can follow the Omnic Weekly on all the same platforms. But look, the best thing to do is to just follow us on whatever platform that you're listening or watching this. You can watch it on YouTube. You can listen to it on Apple, Google. Just hit the subscribe button. I also want to thank our patrons for their support because they can watch this episode live and they'll get first access, at least at some tiers, get early access to the podcast. So come join them on the patreon.com/theomnicpost. That's it.
We love all the Patreons. Big hug to everyone. Join Patreon.
Do it.
What was that? Was that like an autocue message you were reading? What the hell?
Maybe.
You could be working at the Game Awards. That's beautiful.
Let me
Anyways.
check we checks notes. Love all patrons.
We love them reading everything, like the prompter.
That's actually not a bad idea. Maybe I should. That's not a bad idea that I just start adding these. Like they do at concerts where you get a beep for every time you need to say something that you just.
Yeah.
I need to use that for myself. That would be better. Anyways, I'm time to close this thing down. Thank you very much for listening. We'll see you guys next week. Till then, take care of yourself. Take care of each other. Bye bye.
Bye bye.